That's excellent.
Hey, hello. So, how is everyone doing on the show? What's up, everybody?
What's
Hey,
happening? Hi.
Okay,
Top of the day
okay.
to you.
Awake?
Okay, so hello, everyone. I am your boy, Uncle Will of Umbrella Entertainment's That's My Word podcast. And I am joined with my two cohorts. I think that's what you call them, cohorts,
Whoa.
whatever. Uh, you got to be a gentleman. So I'm gonna introduce the female on the crew. Her name is T something. What's your name, girl?
what's up, guys? CK. This show is gonna be real lit. So lit, I had to have me a cup of wine with me. Okay, that's
Oh
how lit.
wow.
Ooh.
Yep.
Okay then. Okay then. So I guess you'll be able to deliver the tea with the wine and everything. She
Yeah.
won't be slurring. And then then we
She'll
have
probably be practicing by the time.
oh wow. And then we have my other co-host, Mr.
Never Mister, never Sir, never none of that stuff. Just C right, plain and simple. You can call me Charles. You can call me Canada. You can call me C to the right or Charles to the right. It doesn't matter. I'm good.
Wow.
It's all about how we
Said
treat
C to
each
the
other.
right.
C to the right.
Yeah. Whatever, I guess, right? So, but let's not forget why we're here. We have a young lady out of the San Francisco Bay Area. She is a sex coach, okay, by the name of Nani. Pronounce it
Nani
right.
Lucas.
Miss Nani, introduce yourself, Miss Lucas.
Oh, I love it. That was good.
Nani Lucas. Just to make that correction from Uncle Will's little video mistake.
That's great.
My mistake. Well, look,
But I am a sensual or a sex coach. What I do, it's like having a life coach, but guiding people to their sensual side of their life, where they can have somewhere to go, someone to talk to, where they can trust all their personal traumas or questions or anything that they wanted to ask that they can't ask that they cannot ask a therapist or their regular life coach.
oh wow, okay. So tell me,
Some people think that I've lost some friends and family thinking I'm like in a room literally watching people, but that's not what I do.
that's a good
Right.
question though, because that was one of the questions that I had for too was, do you actually stand there and like touch it like this or hold it like that,
No.
or
I can give
how does it work?
advice. For me, I can give advice on ways and tips and stuff on how to, assist them with whatever issue that they're having physically.
Mhm.
But since it's not my body, I can't say that's the correct way or non-correct way.
Okay.
I'm more like of a, it's a sensual life coach. It's like a life coach, but more on the sensual side. A lot of people, I'm finding out a lot of people are not open to discover that side. A lot of people are set in old school ways and patterns, things that they were taught growing up through traumas that they haven't healed through. And that's where I come in. That's where I'm that person that they can talk to, guy or girl. I'm loving that I'm getting a lot of men who's having a lot of confidence loss due to health issues.
Mhm.
And the vulnerability is beautiful. I love men who are very vulnerable. I'm noticing that. But to me, that's a sexy thing.
Oh
I
yeah.
love men who can be very vulnerable with, what's going on.
So do you find that when someone is requesting your services, is it more of the male or the female that's interested, that have concern about their relationships and they're contacting you?
At first it was the women. Now I'm getting more men and couples.
Oh, okay.
The men, depending on the age and where they're from, have a misconception of what I do. So I have to correct some of those, free consultations. But
For example.
for example, like during a consultation, they'll, whoop out their little pipe, their private parts and try to ask me if, they're talking about their size. And I'm like, you can put it away. You don't have to take it out. I don't have to see anything. But because if there's really no sense of me seeing it, it's not my body part. So I can't help out
Right.
in that area.
Oh, Okay.
Now,
So,
what's
I
some
mean,
for your couples that's there? What kind of concerns are they having?
couples, a lot of it's communication, a lot of communication and health issues. Some health issues arise with some couples where, let's say like there's heart issues or they have to take certain medications for their health, and their sex drive is lower, and then in turn affects their relationship, or, they're trying to find ways to spicing up their relationship.
Okay.
And I love that. I love it when the couples reach out, because it gives them a safe space to talk. And they're next to each other. It's not like I'm in the room to, I don't take one side over the other. I allow them to have that space to open up.
Okay.
And I'm not telling one person, like if they were to be in probably like, with the therapist or something where you're right or you're wrong. It's just really to open that dialogue for them.
Do you have any or ever had any potential clients who had not told the significant other that you were seeking this and they wanted you to reach out to that person to inform them?
Yes, I
And
have.
how did you handle that?
I would tell them I would advise them to open that dialogue with that person. Because for me personally, I wouldn't want to, it would be like a sneak attack. I would really want someone to open up that dialogue with me. If there's an issue, let me know. So I always advise that first. And if it becomes too scared of a problem with them, I would advise them to do it with them in that conversation, as opposed to me going, making it feel like you're going behind their back, your partner's back.
What is the name of your company again?
It's Intimate Solutions, SOULUTIONS.
And how will they be able to reach you?
On the website at intimatesolutions.com, or on Instagram at Intimate Solutions, or they can text 415-949-167.
Could you say that number one more time, a little bit slower? I just want to make sure in case somebody's right there looking for a pen as we go into that, okay?
Mind you, it doesn't directly go to me right away. It's 415-969-1647.
So my question to you next is, what made you get into this profession? I mean, what drawn you to become a sex therapist, sex coach?
A lot of it has to do with my experience not only in the adult industry, but also with friends and family. Like when I share my stories with them, they want to ask questions for themselves, or I'm the go-to person when it comes to sex advice or relationship sex advice. So I figured, why not do this? And for my mentor, when I was coming to her for advice on how to start, because she's a sex coach, when I came across her and she heard my stories, she was like, yeah, she's like, this is probably perfect for you, because she's married 36 years and her stories compared to mine, she was like more intrigued on my stories and my experiences, because a lot of what I did then, I've also, it's pretty much the same thing. You help people fulfill their fantasies in a different way.
Okay. So I mean, give me a sense of your background, because you said that with your background, you mentioned the adult industry or whatever like that.
Yeah, were you a stud muffin? Is that what you're saying?
I mean,
Yes, and I still am.
Do you have any film out there, anything like that? Any movies?
No movies. I started off dancing, and then while in the dancing industry, if the real story is how I even came across fetishes is I became friends with a group of girls who did extra work and had, pimps and stuff. And since I didn't do what they do, they opened the door for me about fetishes. And with me doing my research, I came across a dom house. And in that dom house was
for those who don't know, can you explain what a dom house is?
Please do.
A dom house, it's not a brothel, to make it clear. In the dom house, the people that are we're in charge. I'm the dom, so I'm the dominant one. Our clients are the subs.
Okay.
And our clients come in wanting to fulfill whatever fetishes, like pretty much almost anything and everything. Someone's probably looked up on Pornhub. I probably have experienced it.
Right.
Wait. Say that again slowly. I didn't hear you quite right. Maybe it's my microphone.
Oh, you
my,
heard her.
What my
No,
reception again?
I mean, everyone has searched anything and everything off of any porn site. Let's, anyone who says they haven't, I know they're lying.
Okay, so I have one. So, have you ever encountered urination on somebody?
Yes, I have golden showered a few people.
Oh wow. TK.
Yeah,
now,
that's your fetish.
Hold on,
That's
you
a-
did what?
that's a hell of a
Golden
question.
shower, where you
Yeah,
pee
Let
on
me just
someone.
ask you this: did you drink plenty of water beforehand?
Yes.
So hold up. TK, have
Yes.
you ever had a golden shower done on you, or have you done a golden shower?
No, I never had a golden shower done on me, or I have never given a golden shower. But
But
You're thinking about it.
however, I definitely thought about it though.
To
For
someone or for you?
I'll tell you what. For those who are out there right now, who is watching this live feed, if you have any questions you'd like to give her,
Yes, please.
feel free to text me your question at 734-717-4442, and I will repeat your question. I will not say unless you want me to say who you are asking the question. Okay.
as well as those of you who viewing on YouTube, you can also chime in on the YouTube channel as well too. So just do that. So, but wow.
Yes.
So it's interesting to find out about this golden shower thing, and to know that TK is also into that kind of stuff too. But
Well, in the Dom house, it's opened my mind to a lot of different fetishes like that people have. And I didn't just have male clients. I've had few couples, I've had women clients too. And it's the same thing. I mean, if, for me thinking about it, going back on my experiences, because I was writing down all these stories, I was like, why not? Why not help people with their own sensual journey with, allowing them to be that open-minded? Because I mean, it's like if you think about it, someone's sexuality, it's like a religious belief or a political belief. Everybody has their own perspective.
right.
So it would be the same for me. It would be the same thing sensually.
So-
I have a lot of friends and family who disagreed with what I'm doing because they're so old school.
I was wondering that how is your family receptive?
Because I think I have one of them texting me right now. But go ahead.
Tell her to get off. Tell her to not say anything.
Go ahead, dear. Go ahead.
No, well, surprisingly, like I have the ones that are in my main circle that understand and know where I'm coming from. They get it. And then I have some other friends that are just very old school. They don't. And I've been recommended, like some of them are like, I'd rather you have an OnlyFans than to do this. And I'm like so confused. Like,
Hold up,
I'm
do
like,
you have an OnlyFans?
wait a minute. No, I don't.
Sorry, fellas.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
It would be costly if that's the case.
Okay,
Right.
I just had somebody ask me, do you have a non-disclosure agreement?
Always.
Confidentiality agreements?
Always. Yes, I do. I don't share any names, information. I've had, I'll share my stories and experiences, but I will never, ever disclose who the person or people are. That's not my place. I don't think it's, even if someone offered me a good amount of money, it's not worth it, because that's a very private thing. I would want my, all my stories and my truths that I share with someone personally kept it at that. So I would respect the same thing for my clients.
Okay, and then also they're wondering, are they protected by, as far as, are you storing information? Whereas, basically, how are you storing your information dealing with your clientele?
Oh, everything's on an external hard drive, and then I have a
Okay.
backup for that. I don't keep anything. I don't keep anything on my computer. Everything's just kept on an external hard drive. I don't trust the computer like that either. So I get it.
Right.
And I don't record any of the sessions unless my clients want me to. So that way they have notes for themselves if they
Really?
if they miss something.
Really? How many cameras do you use to record?
It depends what's happening.
He sounded real.
I know.
You are great.
I'm ready.
Oh, this is good. Say it again, TK.
Nervous.
Say that again.
What's your most requested service? I'm sure you have multiple services that you offer, right?
Yes, a lot of it for the men or women or couples.
Uh,
I want to hear for the men.
Okay.
For the men, a lot of it has to do with growth and lasting longer in bed.
Well, you can learn from this. Listen up. Listen up. Go ahead. Say it again.
Yeah. Let me listen.
For what? Growth or lasting longer?
Actually, both.
Well, if my wife is
it's quiet as it's kept.
Yeah, it got quiet really.
I'm trying to see if my wife gonna yell out there like both.
I just put a couple recent posts. I just did a post on stretching, penis stretching. I posted that, and a perfect tool for lasting longer that I know is really helpful is edging. Even if you take, I know there are men out there who take medication for health reasons, and it really does affect, your sex drive. So edging does help. Edging is where edging, men and women can do it. So with edging, when you're having sex or even in masturbation, right when you get to that point where you're about to climax or come, you stop yourself and then allow that momentum and that feeling to go back down, and then you do it all over again, and then you stop. So it's like you bring yourself to that point to where you don't allow your body to release or let go, and then bring it back down. And for the women, it actually makes your orgasms better. It heightens it. It gives you this different kind of high. It just makes it more intense.
Yeah.
And for the men, it does help a lot of men last longer the more and more they practice it. It also relates to that's like one of the tantra practices that people use. So edging is really helpful, and it's natural too. You're not taking anything. It's a real natural way to, and it helps because you get to listen to your body more. You get to understand your body's limits, and you're in control of your body, so you can tell yourself to stop.
Yeah.
And a lot of it's a mental connection. You're one with, it's your body part. So unless unless you've really given yourself that chance to take time to understand your body, then you won't know your limits unless you give it a try. So edging's helpful. I like edging because it's really natural. You don't have to take any pills. You don't have to. You could do it by yourself. You could do it while you're with your partner, with a toy, without a toy.
So tell me this in regards to the rules of things. Let's say you have a couple. You started working with a couple. Have you had it where someone tried to get to see you maybe by themselves, or do you have like a certain rule where they have to that if you start together, you have to always come to the meeting together? I mean, do you have certain rules like that?
For me, that would be on the own individuals thing, because I have different pricings for individuals and couples. But for couples, depending where they are at in their journey, I've had some couples where I'll start off with one partner and then it will lead to both. There have been one couple where it led to both and then focused more on the wife because she had more questions that she never opened herself to before. So when she set her own booking session separate, and then I asked her if she asked her husband, and she was like, I'll let him know. She just wanted to see what it was like for herself. So I told her open that dialect.
But do you find that it caused problems perhaps?
No, for me, as long as so far I haven't had any problems because they're able to open to talk to each other. Okay. Communication is a very important thing for me that I address to a lot of my clients, whether they're communicating, whether it's a solo consultation or a couple thing. Communication's a big thing.
Well, I'm sorry, see, but you hit on a good point. Do you find that the whole reason why a lot of couples have to come to you is because the breakdown of the communication? Because I would think that it'd be hard for someone to come to another person and say, hey, my partner, they're not delivering it right for me sexually. Can you help me to explain
Oh yeah.
how to get this?
Yes, it's about the communication, and a lot of times people don't know how to address the issue without coming off like they're complaining or worrying if they're nagging or worrying if they're going to hurt their partner's feelings. Because sometimes there's a lot of traumas before the marriage or before their partner that they haven't healed with yet too, but they just unaware of it, whether it be like rape or molestation or anything like that, or abuse from partners in the past or family members or friends. Like there's some people, like a lot of people are just now with this whole pandemic. If you look at a lot of people now, you see the divorce rates go up, the mental issues go. It's because a lot of people are now are being forced to deal with self. So you're with your partner all the time. You're there. You're talking to each other now. Like it's like, whoa, how do I do this? How do I talk to this person? So I get it, but a lot of it is about delivery. And I can admit that because I've had partners in the past where you're scared to ask them or say, I don't like it like that, or it doesn't feel good to me. And they'll, you want to address it, but you don't want to come off like, if I tell them, then they're not going to do it again.
Right.
So, that's a big thing too, why I think communication is very important.
So do you think selfishness is one of the main factors too, and part of that lack of communication?
Selfishness can deal with it, but I think it's more of the insecurity of being able to be open about what's going on.
Well, I'm saying in the aspect, say like, and I'm not going to target you, Willie. I'm going to go for TK this time.
Thank
Okay?
you.
So say like TK is with her significant other, partner, whatever. Okay. And in regards to, she's getting her pleasure, but her partner's is not getting their pleasure. And it's all about that individual. So even though that other partner is saying and expressing, the one's still getting off or being pleased and the other one's not. Do you come across situations like that per se?
Yes, and I would want the partner to address like, what is it exactly that you're not getting pleasure from? Because you have to find out exactly where. Because if, even for a lot of females, like, we do fake it. And then,
Really?
for depending who the person is, they'll fake it. Or if they're not voicing it, then it can't be fixed.
Right.
So, it's the same thing even for a guy. I know guys fake it too.
Mm-hmm.
Are you
Guys
a faker?
fake it too.
Are you a faker?
Am I what?
Have you been a faker?
Oh, of course.
I'm sure we all
Of
have.
course. We all have.
Hey,
How long normally
We
are your
all
sessions?
have.
we all have.
How long are your sessions normally? The minimum to maximum?
What are you talking? Which sessions are you talking about?
And I'm talking. Oh, you are good. You caught me with that one. That was good. That was good. Okay. I'm talking about as far as you being a sex coach. How long are your
The short,
minimum to maximum?
30 minutes to 2 hours.
Damn,
It depends on what is being discussed or how much attention
Mhm.
or focus the client needs. It varies. It really varies. It depends on what it is exactly they're looking for. The 15-minute consultation I do is try to get a feel and vibe off of what the person is looking for, and to see if I'm the right coach for them. Because I'm not there's plenty of other coaches out there, but I always want to make sure that the client picks the right person and that they understand exactly what they're getting into or knowing what I do. Some of them get the misconception when they find out. They're like, oh, okay, this is not
Right. It's not what I was
it is not a live. It's not an OnlyFans live type of
right.
thing.
Sex video and stuff.
So what makes you different? What makes you different as a sex coach compared to the rest?
Other than my experience, I'm just very, very open to listen and understand, like my perspective and my compassion, and just to allow them to feel safe. I just want my clients to feel safe, to be able to express their journey without having to feel scared. I've been there before. I mean, I can relate to molestation and rape, and being able to come out of those things is a big thing. And then having to still experience what I experience and not hold in that anger. And so I can help, you know, as long as I'm helping someone or couples, and that's where I get the happiness and glorification from.
So do you find out most of the problem that a lot of the clients that you have is because some of them have dealt with some form of molestation or rape, some type of trauma?
It's either some type of trauma, whether it's molestation, rape, or abuse, or just what they were taught, like through growing up in a family where it's religious strict based, or growing up in a family where they just teach you this is right and this is wrong, and that's all you know, like growing up. And then you go out into the world and you're like, whoa, what's all this?
Right.
You know, there's some people, I've had a couple clients where they're so sheltered that they don't even know if it's okay to touch themselves. They don't know if it's okay to, they'll pretty much, they'll demonize themselves from what they subconsciously were taught.
Mm-hmm.
So
You mentioned about as far as victims of dealing with as far as sexual abuse and so forth like that. Just
Right.
on your own personal opinion, how do you feel our society really addresses victims of abuse?
I don't
Sexual
think
abuse?
they address it enough. I don't think they give it enough compassion or understanding compared to other things, because that's a very important thing. So many kids don't understand that it's okay to say that there's something wrong without having to feel like you're wrong. You know, like back then they say what happens in the house stays in the house.
Right.
Mhm.
You know, no, like there's somebody you can talk to. There should be, kids should understand, and even adults should know that there's somebody you can still talk to, even if you held it on for so long. Some people still are unaware that you can break out of those patterns and habits of what you can and can't do. And that's one thing I love the most. It's just having to be more, having someone feel more liberated,
Yeah.
because everybody's different. Like, you know, just like how there's many different religious beliefs or political beliefs or whatever beliefs someone has, the door is open. It's endless. Or there's a new one that comes out. You know, it's like, you know, it's like flavors of food or cell phones or technology or even money. There's a new one that comes out.
Right.
So who's to say that your sensual journey or your belief in your sexuality is just in a box?
Tell me this, have you increased your clientele even through, let's say, like the LGBT community? I mean, how does that work there as well?
Oh, it works pretty it works pretty
No,
well. Some of them end up becoming,
I'm
you
sorry.
know, like, oh no, a lot of it works pretty well because I'm very open to, especially to that community.
Okay.
That community, especially, like a lot of them, as you know, a lot of people on social media like present themselves like a certain way, but when they're behind the closed doors and it's quiet, they need somebody to be
Right.
like, you know, they're unsure. So
Right.
it's very, especially in that community, especially with it growing more and more
Mm-hmm.
to, you know, different kinds of sexuality orientation.
Mm-hmm.
That does bring in a lot. Like that part of my clientele is slowly growing because they're discovering that there is somebody. They're just now discovering that they can talk to someone without having to
That's
worry about
good.
if like, let's say if a guy is saying I'm bi, they don't have to worry about coming to me and I'm like, oh, you're gay. You know, it's not, you know, they're slowly understanding that there's somebody that they can go to.
You know, and I asked that because even with what I do, as far as with my company doing video and photography and stuff, I have been working a lot with the LGBT, doing pictures and videos for their weddings, and a lot of stuff that I have gotten from a lot of them is that, you know, all the bias and the prejudices that they deal with, and so and dealing with me, they, you know, I mean, you know, you try to make them feel comfortable, but I asked that
Right.
question because I was just wondering, have even in your field, have you encountered the resistance or, you know, the nervousness about?
Yeah. Oh, it's always like that in the beginning with any client. A lot of I can tell when they're nervous because when I start to ask them, like, so why did you reach out to me? And they'll start off with, well, I don't know if I should even say this. And I'm like, look, you're talking to me. And to me, ain't nothing's really with what I've dealt with and experienced. Like I've had some friends like, I don't know if I should share you this. This is weird. I'm like, look, nothing to me is weird. Like I'm weird too. So to go ahead, let's test me to see how far is weird. Because
okay.
ain't nothing weird. All the stuff I've experienced.
So let's kind of heavy right now. So conversation is, but I got some questions that I received. People need some help out here. So
let's help them.
Yes, let's help them. All right. So first thing, what are some new ways to spice up a marriage?
Oh, this is my favorite one.
Before you start, Nani, give me 1 second, guys. 1 second. 1 second.
Now, while she getting 1 second, I want to know.
Go on with
question.
Go on with the answer.
Is it how to spice up a new marriage or an old school marriage? Because two people sometimes you don't.
Or it could be live-in partners.
Yeah.
Too.
So, yeah, that's a good question.
Okay. Okay.
You have your notepad ready? Paper pen ready? We good to go?
Somebody's busted. That's great. Somebody's busted. That's great.
No, I needed a charger, but we are okay. I'm ready. So yes, I said, what are some ways to spice up a marriage?
It's like Uncle Will said. Is this for new marriage or old marriage, live-in partners, or just in general?
Like a younger couple,
If they're younger, they should already be freaks, I would think.
Yeah. Well, if you're married, for me, I say this to all my married couples. Whatever you guys do or want to try it. You guys shouldn't be scared of each other. You're married to each other. Right. So go ahead, try it. One of my favorite things that I love to do is building anticipation while your partner's at work, even if they're working in the other room. Mm-hmm. It's like a sense of foreplay. You're building that anticipation. If they're like if they're on a Zoom call or in a meeting, or even if they're at work, it's okay to send them a nude, send them your voice of saying something nasty or something, a text, something cute to build up the anticipation. So when they get home,
is he doing that right now?
You're like,
is your significant other doing that right now?
We do that all the time.
Go ahead, dear. Go ahead.
Okay, I gotta. That was all right.
Or even like if they're on a Zoom call, walk by and frisk your hand underneath the table, gesture them or something. It's an endless thing. Just spice it up because you guys are away from each other or with work and kids. You start losing yourself in the whole well, we have kids now, we have work now, we have bills, we have this and that. Then break that stress with something fun and sexy. Like, this is your partner. You should be able to send them a nude. Yeah, if you're at work at an office, go to the bathroom, take a break and do something. Be like, hey, I'm thinking about you at work. Just wanted to send you this. Or even just your voice.
Yeah.
Even if you're at a family party, text them across the room. Just
I like that.
Right.
It's really like, hey, 5 minutes, bathroom.
What's the other question, TK?
But all right. So why?
She's gonna try this tonight.
Exactly.
When we're done, I'm going to send.
Somebody's busted.
Why does my body respond better sexually to women opposed to men, but I like men better?
Because you find women attractive. This is coming from a woman, right?
Yeah.
Women find other women attractive. As much as we hide it, if we see a girl walk by and she looks good and has a nice ass, we're like dudes, in the back of our mind, I'm like, well, damn, she looks good. I do that too.
So
it doesn't hurt to find women attractive. If you find them attractive, hey, that's.
TK, before we go to the next question, answer me this though: should the partner, the boyfriend, the husband, whatever, should he feel jealous because of that? Or, I mean, because like you said, it's a
No,
natural
it's
reaction.
like his tag team partner. It's helping him out.
Well,
For me, I would think
what he's
it's
saying
helping.
is, should he be jealous or should he be concerned? That's what he really wants
There
to
you
ask.
go. There you go.
Should he be concerned? Unless she wants to explore that. That's something she should address.
Okay, Uncle Will, this is your area. Go ahead and throw it out there. Go ahead.
Hey. let me tell you this, okay? If me and my wife walking down the street and I happen to see her turn and do one of these.
To a female?
Yes, to another female. Number one, I'm gonna be mad because I know if I do it, you're gonna slap the shit out of me. You know what I'm saying? But two, you gonna do it. And I never had a clue, an idea that you even, like that. Hell, I suggested one time, can you bring your best friend? And you kicked me out the house for a couple of weeks. You know what I'm saying? So I'm saying, how do a man who's heterosexual
as a woman, I'll be honest, for me, as a woman on that perspective, we like having to be able to choose that. Like with my experience on swinging and threesomes with partners in the past, it felt better when I got to choose because it's who, as a woman, it's who I'm attracted to. It's what I like. It's not what you like.
Uncle Will, go back to what you were trying to cut in and ask her about.
I said my jaw just dropped up on the threesomes and the. Tell me this, because you are fine as hell. Do you have a man?
Yes.
Oh, you're on the couch tonight. You were on the couch.
Hey, I'm just acknowledging that she's a very attractive woman. So, how do your man, or how do he feel about this part of you? I mean, evidently y'all had to talk. So, how do you feel about your current, business?
Oh, we are best friends. We were friends before we even hooked up, and we know of each other's stories and backgrounds, and we know each other's truth through and through. So he's very okay with what I do.
Okay.
He's very okay with that, and with our own sex life, it's always about the communication.
That's what's up.
It's very important. Like, if I'll even catch myself getting jealous sometimes, and I'll laugh it off because I'll tell him, like, oh my God, when you said this, I was about to say that, and I stopped myself, and he'll acknowledge that.
So you have an open relationship.
We play on occasion.
Clarify that I'm playing.
Play.
Yeah.
We're exclusive, but we play on occasion. But I get to choose who we play with.
So
if I have a fantasy, or if he has a fantasy that wants to be fulfilled, we'll address what it is. And then if the circumstance is ever brought to itself, we talk about it first before we decide to make it happen.
I know you talk, but if you ever said, honey, I want to add another male, would he be receptive to that?
He'd be okay with it.
He would.
Go ahead, TK. TK, go ahead.
I said,
oh, wow.
A sister wife.
What was that?
Would you ever have a wife?
Would I ever have a sister wife?
Yeah.
I'd be more receptive of that, even though.
I wouldn't see why. If I'm really attracted to her, yeah, as long as I get to pick the wife.
Really?
If the wife is for me, more for me than it would be for my husband, yes.
No, boo. It's for us.
It would help you out because I'll be busy.
See, Will? See? So let me ask you this then. What you're saying
let's be honest, if that's just my thing. But if my partner wanted to do a sister wife thing, we would have to come together to pick the extra person.
Yeah.
It's been brought up before. So
y'all have talked about the
yes, we've talked about different kinds of relationships. Like, we're very exclusive, but we're open to to play sexually if we need to. But should it ever get to that where if we need an extra person, yeah, I'm open to it. But we come to the conclusion where it works for us without having to get one person jealous over the other.
Right. Okay.
Because that will happen. It will happen.
So voyeurism is a part of your relationship, correct?
Yeah. Why not?
So he's standing by watching you getting on with somebody else, correct?
Why not?
Okay, and vice versa, right?
Yes, as long
So
as
he's
As
never
hold
had
on,
no
hold on. As
problem
long as
watching.
what?
Go
As
ahead.
long as what? As long as
no,
you
as long
choose.
as we are like no, as long as we discuss first like what we're gonna do,
Gotcha. Okay.
what's okay, what's not okay.
Yeah.
And then before it's not like, hey babe, by the way, I'm gonna go do this right now.
Okay.
That's
So,
a
but
no-no.
you tell me
That's a no-no for us. Some couples might choose different. What I've learned with other swingers and people who have open relationships without a certain rule and boundaries, it's not going to work.
Right.
so what you're telling me is he has no problem watching you shake hands with somebody, another man, correct? Okay. Now, what is your definition of intimacy with somebody else outside of your significant other that he has observed and he has no problem with it?
The main one for the both of us, just for me, is kissing.
Oh,
Say that again.
kissing.
Kissing.
What about kissing?
He can't kiss another woman.
Okay, good. So he can do everything else with another woman. He could have a mouthful of woman in front of your face. You have no problem with that.
A mouthful of women.
Okay.
I mean, that's being
He could be
diplomatic.
eating all he wants, but he can't kiss her.
Okay.
And vice versa too.
Mhm.
So you're saying that he has witnessed this, or you witnessed that happening, and that didn't bother you. Oh, don't close your eyes when you answer. I asked you a question. Keep those eyes open, sister. Come on.
No.
No, it don't bother me. It don't bother me.
I don't know. I'm just it's just perplexed to me because it's like if you're agreeing as a couple to be able to do certain things, well, I guess you do have to have some limitations or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, every couple has boundaries. Even if they say they're an open relationship, sister wives, swingers, any kind, whatever kind of couple title you have, there's always boundaries. There's always there's
Yeah.
always a respective boundary that you have to have in order for it to work. A lot of couples I've met in the swingers life that have open, even the ones that say, oh, we have an open relationship, there's still rules to what they do and what they don't do out of respect for each other.
Right.
Mm.
Gotta have those boundaries.
Because once that respect and once that boundary is broken and that rule's broken, the other partner, one of the two, is gonna start losing interest. That's a give. That's a definite fact, and I've seen it happen even in my own experiences. Once a rule is broken, you lose respect. It's almost like being cheated on.
Yeah.
Wow. I never thought of it like that. Man,
Yeah.
okay. Well,
Is there a
Yes.
baseline
So
rule
like,
for a
Huh?
swingers couple, or as far as per se a place or whatever, a swingers gathering? Is there a baseline rules, a general rules that you'll find with swingers across, we'll say wherever?
other than asking for permission, each couple's different. You would have to, the parties I've been to, you always get to know the other couples that are there. You talk,
So they have to be couples.
interact.
They have to be couples, not singles, correct?
Some parties allow some singles, but the singles would probably pay more to get in. But the ones that I've gone to are majority couples.
wow. No, hey, now I told C a long time ago too. I was actually invited to one of those, and it was in the local Detroit area. TK, I see you smiling or whatever, but I don't know. Like I said before, I don't know what made them decide to send me a text saying, "Hey, boom, 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 it's gonna be Saturday on this at this address." Because I never put myself out there saying that, "Hey, I want to check out the swinging life or whatever like that," and I know she don't either. So I think it'll be something interesting though.
It would.
Go
I
and see.
think just go and observe. You know.
Yeah, a lot of these parties, you don't have to do anything.
Yeah.
A lot of the times it's just to mingle with other couples. And if you decide to exchange numbers with them, you could mingle with them, play with them there, or meet outside. It's really,
Oh,
it's really up to the couples that you meet. It's not
Yeah.
like these parties, it's like, okay, if you come here, this is what's gonna
Got it.
happen, and that's what's gonna be done.
Yeah,
No,
but
it's optional, but it's a good place to meet other couples and at least see who you vibe and don't vibe with. I've gone to parties where couples the wife would be like, I want that one. Like, and you'll hear it too. And it's like, you're like, I want her, or I want them. That's who I want. And they'll be loud so you can hear it. And then you're like, hey, introduce yourself. It's a place where, it's like going to a regular nightclub where singles meet, except you're meeting couples, like, what they're there for. Right. They're not there just to be like, hey, we're going to sit here and hang out and party. They want to see what it's about, or they want to see what couples they can meet, or, what possibilities or fun stuff they can get into later.
It's a meat house. Say it. Dawn, say it. It's really a meat house. It's a fantasy meat house. That's exactly
it's a fantasy meat house. There's some swingers club where it's a playhouse downstairs.
Damn. Well, I mean, the way TK was looking, like she's been there before.
I've been to a swingers party, but I'm not opposed to one. I think if I told my man we going there, he probably like no, but I probably could convince him maybe. Like, let's go and just look for a little bit.
You can always go and look. A lot of couples go in there just to look and see some people just want to see what it's about.
But with all fairness, buyer beware, because again, one of my businesses on the side is being a private investigator. And from what I found is, prior to somebody going there, you have to disclose certain pertinent information about you for the ones that's actually properly organized.
Yeah, the ones that are properly organized, they need their couple's membership. So they would ask like for your name and number, basic stuff like that, just to keep on file for membership reasons. Address
and some other things too, along with a photo.
Oh wow, all that?
Yeah.
Well, you know what? I guess I could see that for.
It's for this. It's for a lot of it's for the security purposes of the couple.
Yeah, I can see that.
Well, and to make sure that these couples are legit. There's some who will go there and not be a couple, and will just want to go just to shop. So so I get what you're saying. Yeah.
So tell me, have you thought about writing a book?
Of my stories, yes.
So when do you foresee yourself doing it if you do decide to write a book? Because I think it'd be interesting.
Oh, this every time a memory comes up, I write it down. So I've been working on it for the past year. I've been working on a little memoir of different stories and things that I've done. I've done, period. That's it.
Well, let's touch on that. You said certain things you've done. Okay. We'll say profession-wise, what have actually you done that got you to this point?
There's no like.
I mean, you said you were in the adult industry at one time. At what aspect of what title, as far as in the adult industry?
Just as a dancer and as a dom. Porn star, no.
Porn star.
Okay.
Maybe just private porn star for my partner. That's it.
Now, go ahead, TK. You got another question?
Yeah, I did. What if a person is not really want to have sex anymore unless being intoxicated? Like, what does that mean? Is there something wrong in the relationship or that person?
That person's just relying on liquid encouragement. Like it's like with how I see that. It's like with it's like with working out, or like if you're depressed, like you rely on something to help you make you feel good. For that person who, if at least they notice it, they notice that in order to feel sexually liberated, they have to drink.
But my concern with that would be, if I have to have a drink to be able to be physical with you, maybe it's
that's something that it should be. That's why that's where it's a personal thing. So it's something that they should dive into in order to release that. You're relying on alcohol to help you sexually, and that shouldn't even be the case. It's like taking a drug. You're like, you can't do this unless it's for that. That person's gonna eventually will run into a partner where they're gonna feel like, okay, so in order for you to have sex with me, you have to drink.
Right.
And that wouldn't feel good as for a partner who is like, let's say they have a partner who doesn't drink. They're going to start feeling like, okay, so you can't have sex with me unless you drink. What's the problem? So there's a deep underlying problem to why that person solely relies on alcohol for only sexual reasons. So that's a very deep issue. Whoever that person is, like, it really has something deep that they need to heal off of, because I can't do something sexual unless I drink is something very deep within self. It has nothing to do with the other person. It's a crutch that they're holding on to. So there's something that's hurting them personally to why they're relying on alcohol in order to gain sexual pleasure.
Wow.
Yeah, thank you for that, Nani. I got a really interesting one too. If you're interested in fingering your man, no, but he's against it.
Right.
Try it, or you just leave it alone, or it's like, why you giving head or something, and just leave it alone completely.
Wait, say that again slowly. I didn't hear you quite well. You broke up a little bit. Say it again.
It says, you're interested in fingering your man anal, but he's against it. Should you leave it alone or just try it while giving him head?
Leave it alone.
Leave it alone. Unless if she discussed it with him and he said, no, I'm not cool with that, then leave it alone. Because I'm sure if he did that to her and he didn't tell her,
thank you,
it'd be like, oh, you're doing that and you're poking the wrong hole.
That's true, but it is kind of a double standard too. Some guys just sit back there.
Some guys will like it but won't admit it. But it's something that you should bring it up to your partner. Like, hey, would you be mad if I just tried to
but if he
poke
already
you in your booty one time?
Okay. Well, whose pleasure? But question is, whose pleasure? Whose pleasure is that digital penetration you're trying to do?
It seemed like
because he ain't asking for it.
Yep, exactly. It seemed like it's her pleasure because he already said no. Because women are so keen on that no means no. So if he says no, what? Because I'm a man, I'm masculine.
Right. No, I agree. And I agree with that. I totally agree with that. If he already told her no, then just leave it alone, because it depending on their relationship, how close they are, or how deep their relationship is. Eventually there'll come a time where they'll get that comfortable to each other, be like, hey babe, would you mind if I poked you, and can I try poking your booty this time? Like, it might just come to a point down the road where he'll be like, you know what, I trust you, go ahead. Like, I want to see. Next, I want to see what the P spot's all about. You know what I mean? Like,
shit, the next you're gonna ask him to put a strap on and hit him with it. No, I mean, what's next? If I said no for the finger,
there's
limitations.
I mean, it depends. Like, every partner you'll never know depending on the partner. I mean, I've pegged straight men in the dom house. So
hold on, hold on. Your terminology.
It's not a thing.
Familiar with it. Not everybody's familiar with your terminology. You did what?
Pegging is where you do it to the man in his hole.
Yeah,
what do you mean pegging? How did you peg him?
Pegging him with the strap on. I put a strap on and I peg him.
It's getting cold in here.
Anally.
It's getting cold in here. It's getting cold.
Okay.
That's called pegging. Yes.
And he wanted that.
He must have wanted to see. I mean, but let me tell you.
There's some guys who like that prostate orgasm. Like, guys have a P spot. Like, there's
and I think that's exactly why TK's friend or whoever that is, text message,
whoever it is,
prostate. Yeah, with this, you know what I'm saying? With that.
Whoever it is.
Exactly.
You see where you're going with this question.
Wow. Wow.
That's like, real quick, Nani. How can swingers practice safe sex for oral sex?
Dental dams.
Dental dams?
Dental dams. If there's no dental dams available, saran wrap.
So, like,
you have sandwich bags. You have anything clear.
Just wrap on my tongue and then just.
So the dental dam, the saran wrap, or the sandwich bag, whatever clear plastic thing, or even if you cut a condom in half, you would lay it over the body part and have at it.
I just want to know what type of people you're dealing with, because you're going like this. I'm like, damn, what are you doing?
Hey, Lips have to be spread somewhere. Legs have to be open. So
Yeah, but I'm talking about muscle memory. I'm like, what's going on?
Hey,
you can't put a dental dam on just any lip and go at it. Women
Okay.
have, the clitoris is a very extensive muscle. So it's not just that little pebble a lot of guys think it is.
Mhm.
It's very open. So like when women are on top, it's always preferable if a woman grinds than just bouncing up and down, because she gets pleasure out of it herself when she's
Oh.
grinding more than she's up and down and just getting that internal orgasm. Oh, if she's on top and grinding on a guy, she's gonna feel it more because she's getting her clit pleasure.
Okay. Okay.
So that's a good one. But for that dental dam, saran wrap, or cut a condom in half, or a sandwich bag,
Just
because
put it-
some places it's hard to have access to those things.
Okay. All right.
Yes, you would put it on the vagina, on her pussy, or whatever you want to call it, her JJ, her yoni.
so many different names.
Yeah, so
Right.
many different names. A lot of people are scared to use the names, but let's just be honest.
That
what
is
we
just
call
weird
it.
to me. That is just so weird to me. That I mean, if you and I are intimate and we together, why can't I give it a name? Why can't I, tell you to bring that trigger over here for me? Fire it off for me, baby. So you know what I'm saying? I mean,
That's fine. Why not name the body parts? I think every couple should have names for you should have names for your partner's body parts.
I have named my toys.
Oh
Yeah, name for toys and body parts too. Yes.
Give us some of the names
Toys,
that you have
yes.
for your toys, TK. Give us an example. What's the name that you have for some of your toys?
All right. No name. He's sick. Black.
I can figure out who Black is. I already know what kind of toy that is.
Oh my God.
Say less, baby. I understand. I have Chocolate Thunder too.
Oh, wow. Let me, since you ladies introduced these toys,
Mhm.
I love toys. There's so
Okay.
many different kinds of
you
toys.
call them your love toys. Is there wear and tear on the body from use of such toys compared to as far as afterwards the use? So say like you use your megabyte, okay, that you're talking about, okay? And then afterwards,
My
you use
Optimus
that-
Prime.
what is left? In other words, what's the Optimus Prime? Okay, what's
like that.
left for the man afterwards? That's all I want to know.
It should, man. What's wrong for the men afterwards?
No. I'm saying what's left for the man, because you're gonna have to have time for
A
recovery.
man should understand that a toy is like their tag team partner. If he
Yeah.
gets tired or he wants to break and he wants to continue to last longer, or if he's trying to edge, it's helpful. Here's a good advice too. Men should take the toys as your tag team partner, because if you're trying to edge or last longer in bed for her, then once you're about to hit that peak, back off, grab the toy, let it do its thing till you're ready to come back up, or do that again. I mean, with my partner, we've used the toy to help for DP. If I wanted to experience a DP experience,
Okay, what's the DP?
double penetration, one in the booty, one in the
Again,
vagina.
this is for people who don't know. Okay, she's using certain terms people are not aware of.
Hey, TK,
DP
calm down, TK.
I know, for real.
Dang, girl, you know everything.
She's like, how do you not know what that means?
Right.
There's a lot of people that don't. There's a lot of people.
DP is double penetration.
Okay.
So if for, let's say, like there's couples or there's a female who wants to try it, but then she's scared to invite another male into the story, or her partner is not comfortable with it, then you use a toy.
Okay. If from what I know of, again, I'm a layman in regards to the knowledge compared to what experience, and let alone TK on this matter, okay? But using such physical attributes as far as a prosthetic, what you're saying, isn't it over a course of time, you are actually building yourself up to a higher tolerance of pleasure to be able to get there? Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yes, you can. Yeah.
Okay, so in other words, you're creating more of a havoc on the guy from his natural, item compared to the toy, correct?
I prefer the real thing. I
Okay.
prefer the real thing.
Yeah,
a lot of women I know prefer the real thing. The toy.
You avoided, you're not answering the question though. Okay, you're not answering, the question is very clear. By using such prosthetics,
Mhm.
you're building up a greater tolerance. So you're taking away the natural approach to things, which would almost make it almost impossible for the guy to reach that same thing that the everlasting battery is using on that toy, or the solar power, or the chain, filled with gasoline, whatever.
It depends on the person. It depends on the woman. A lot of women I know like using the toys just for, personal mastery. They prefer the real thing. Mm-hmm. So if they have a partner who can't deliver that, and that partner can't, perform or find ways or solutions to get them to that climax, then the toy is helpful for them, but not relying on them.
Okay, that's beautiful. And I understand and I respect that, but that's not what I'm discussing. I'm asking you, from your experience and your knowledge.
Okay.
The use of such toys or items causes a woman, or creates an atmosphere, a woman's tolerance is a lot higher and takes a longer time because of using such toys compared to the natural thing. If she switches over to toys, it's going to take longer compared to the natural thing to be able to reach gratification. Yes or no?
That's extensive because it depends on the woman. Every woman's
Uncle
body
Will,
part's different.
I need you to tag in on this, Uncle Will. Tag in, please.
Every woman's body part's different.
You know what? No. You right now, you are really being full of it, Nani. Okay, because let me. Okay, I'm not a therapist, but I am a. No, anyway, I'm not a therapist, but you trying to tell me that a woman, if she continue to abuse it, because that's what a lot of these women do. They abuse the dang on toy. that once their man come and try to get it in, he's not going to have a problem, or she's not going to be receptive. At least I wouldn't think she wouldn't be as receptive, because she's so addictive to this, as TK say, magpie thing, this big ass black. How can he mentally match to black?
Don't start toys, man.
I don't think there's a competition. If it comes to that point, then there's something that should be addressed.
No. See, she did it again. He didn't say anything about competition. We're talking about the wear and tear on that body, and you build up tolerance.
Know what he's doing. Okay.
Oh, so now you want to degrade the man if you know what he's doing?
No.
Because he can't keep up with something that's solar powered. Because he can't keep something that's plugged into a wall. Come on.
Boy, out pleasure your woman. Come on now. From battery.
Don't do that.
Same.
Don't do that. Don't do that. You're copping a plea to justify that mag pipe you got sitting on the side of you right now, okay? As soon as we get off the air. Don't try and do all that.
I agree with you 100% because
my goodness.
We do not have DC current coming to us. What's going, okay? You know what I'm saying? So you gotta be understanding somewhat that, hey, come on.
Toy and a real thing at the same time. You know what I'm saying? You can put the toy on the clit and then the real thing on the inside, and there you go. You got a combination right there.
You know what, TK? I maybe you should be a sex therapist too, because
maybe she should stop talking junk. That's what I'm saying. And especially when you went into the DP. Let me throw a good one with that DP stuff. Now, if he's using or she's using that DP substitute for, hey, guess what? Instead of including somebody else. She's using this. After a while, what happens? They're not messing around. They're out enjoying a good time with friends and company, and they flagellate. Okay, there's there a possibility of release or something by accident because they're, let alone a cough or a sneeze?
Possibly, yeah.
Why? Hold on, but why?
Wait, you mean like right after a DP session?
No. I'm saying from constant use of using such items. Like what TK talking about using later on. But I'm saying later on using such items, it could be a couple of days later. In other words, it's causing wear. Okay. Whereas
it depends how aggressive. Like if she's being, are you being that aggressive to your vagina that it's causing that wear and tear? Yes, it should cause some cause and concern.
What would cause you to get more aggressive because your body's building up more of a tolerance to clean?
Well, I don't know. There's some people who buy I've seen at the Armory in San Francisco. I've witnessed some
Damn, they have it at the Armory? Shit.
Yeah. There's dildos and toys where you get, it's like having a taser, and these people are, Yes. So that's why I'm saying it depends on the person, because there's people who like using toys that sends out electrical, friction to them, like a taser. Like there's toys where it's like a taser and they're using it as, it's a dildo, but it's like, it's giving out electrical frequency. You would think that some people would be scared of it, but some people like that intensity. Some
That type of
people like
stimulation.
those things, that kind of stimulation. Exactly. So for me, it's that's why I always make these faces, because not every guy or girl is going to have the same kind of sensation. Like for me, it's like define abuse, because they're like this, that like I wouldn't want a toy that's going to shock me, but I've seen it happen and people like it. Some people really like stuff like that.
Wow.
It's like those who like being tied up, or it's being tied up and gag balled and all that stuff. Some people like that sensation. That some people just like that kind of intensity. So the toys are just helpful. For me, it's like helpful devices, so you can discover what you like, what you don't like. There are some toys where the vibration pulses won't do it for me. I can wear it all day and it's this on the same thing, or I'll try something different and it'll be boring.
Of course, look what you've been using.
That's why I would prefer like my partner, because I know I have a body to grab. I have someone touching me. I have someone holding me. It's physically there. For me, I prefer that. I prefer that. The toys is just, it's just there.
Yeah.
The toys is just there. It's a helpful assistant. It's not something should be relied on. It's like a helpful assistant, because ultimately someone's, even if let's say someone wants to get gag balled and tied up, they can't really do it themselves. Someone has to come there and actually help them out a little bit to tie them up and to let them down, or to, some couples I know like closing off some of their sensory for sexual pleasures, whether it's blindfold or earplugs, or, and they want to try that out. Why not try that out? I've had a client who came in the Dom house and he actually liked testing his limits. So he'll tie himself up and he wants to see how long he can last without having to use his hands to touch himself down there. If it was possible to bust or to reach climax, and to see, he would test his limits by his time frame. So he'll come in, and if I want to try and see if I can last more than 15 minutes, then it'll be 30 minutes. Then he for his own reasoning, whatever it is, he would come and test it out. And that's what I would do. I would tie him up, blindfold him, use feathers, flower leaves, just gentle air, ice, whatever I could do to get him there and have him release. But he's not touching himself. I'm not touching him. It's things like that. So a lot of people want to experience or try things like that pop up. Like, sometimes you're like, hey babe, like I want you to blindfold me just so that you don't know what's going to happen. And some people like that excitement of like, I don't know if he's going to kiss me here or there, if he's going to touch me, not touch me. And so sometimes some people find that sexy. And, like I said, those electrical toys, you could hear the tasing noise in that room and in the hallways, and they love it. So it really depends on that person as to how far they want that intensity to go for their body. There's men who like sounding. Sounding is, I'm trying not to say this without hurting your guys' feelings right now.
Say it.
Oh, you just want to crush a man. Go ahead, bring it, sister. Don't be shy. Bring it.
Not hurting like that, but okay. Sounding is when you're pretty much piping a guy's pee hole.
You do what?
What?
Right, I don't know what piping like.
You don't know, TK? You don't know?
Sounding is when a guy finds pleasure in having his pee hole, your main penis hole, penetrated.
Oh yeah, okay.
In your pee hole.
Oh, hell no.
Like if you pulled your thing out, you know where your pee hole is, right? You guys only have 2 holes. So it would be penetration in your pee hole.
Are you serious?
Yes.
That's a thing.
It's a thing.
That sounds like someone that had an experience with a catheter that they will not forget and they want to relive it all the time.
Right.
You'll never know where it came from. It could even be from a physical checkup when it's like how
Right.
they used to. You know, like
That's interesting.
Wow. So
I'm interested to the point that I want to try it, but that is interesting.
not the way you're saying it though, brother. I mean,
A
because
lot
I
of
heard you go afterwards.
and I mean, a lot of times I share that with guys, and the first thing they say is "ouch." So that's what I mean by hurting your feelings. Like I know that back. I don't know if they still do it now, but I know when guys have physicals, like that's not really a favorite, the favorite part of a physical back then.
Well, let me ask you this: because of the COVID-19, prior to the COVID-19, especially right now, and moving with technology and everything else, you're based out in the what? In San Francisco,
Yes.
Bay Area.
Yes.
Okay. So if somebody wanted to contact you, say like TK, as soon as you get off the phone and everything else, and say like she had a significant partner, or even Will, and his wife, after she hits him over the head and say, how can I violate him, whatever type of way. Do you do face-to-face or FaceTime, Google Duo, or even Zoom to instruct people how to cope or to work them through as being a sexual coach or sex coach?
I always find out with the whole COVID thing, I don't do face-to-face right now just for those safety reasons until I have all the stuff I need in my workspace to make it safe for my clients that come in face-to-face. But right now I ask the client, what do they have? If they have Duo, I'll use Duo. If they have an Apple, I'll use my, I have an iPhone and iPad where I can FaceTime. I can use WhatsApp. I can use Zoom. So I ask them I first question is their time zone. And then I ask what they're able to use as far as video calls, if they even want a video, or if some of them don't even want to video chat. Some wouldn't mind talking on the phone. So I ask what's more comfortable for them.
Right.
So if a caller, say like Will, who's called probably like 4 or 5 different people already, and he says, I'm not really feeling comfortable with what you're saying. What do you normally say to your potential clients to ensure that for them to feel comfortable and they can instill in you trust? What is it you normally say to them, or what could you say to them?
I always let them know. I let them introduce
themselves. Just look right directly in the camera like you're talking to TK. Go ahead. I'm listening. Go ahead.
Well, I'll tell them to introduce themselves and what is it that you wanted to call? What is this call for? Do you know what you're calling for? And if they start with, well, I don't know, or I don't know how to say it, I'm like, well, this is your safe space. Anything you tell me, even through this consultation, it just stays here. Like, there's no wrong question. There's no wrong curiosity. Let me know what's on your mind. Let me know what you're thinking. Let me know what the issue is. And if I can help, I can help. If not, I will let you know.
Is there certain barriers you do not cross when someone comes to you as seeking for you to coach them? Is there certain ones you automatically will say to them, and I'm sorry, I cannot help you?
If it has to do with anything with pedophilia or abuse or, trafficking or rape, I'm definitely not for that. Not for that at all.
Excellent response.
And I make sure I will hang up without any warning. I won't tolerate it. I do not tolerate that at all.
Yeah, that gotta be crazy. Well, I mean, outside of using those different mediums or whatever, you also have a podcast also that people can check you out on as well. Called
Yes.
Come
on.
You are nasty, let me tell you.
I mean, come on. Like it's always like when sex comes up and you talk about outside of the box, people look at you crazy and you're like, come on, like what, and what better way to spell come on than with the special word that everybody loves.
Hey.
Here go TK. Hey, go ahead, TK.
Hey, there's no pleasure without come, right?
Exactly. Can't fake it.
So
I mean, that's for both ends. I mean,
she said both ends. Okay.
Yeah. Both ends, all holes, male, female, whatever gender orientation, don't matter.
You don't discriminate. You do not discriminate.
Well,
not at all.
Now, with your show, you also have a partner. Could you tell us about her?
Her name is Michelle Snyder. She's a journalist. and she's in her own sexual journey right now. She's exploring what she likes and what she doesn't like. Tomorrow we're actually recording our third session. We call them sessions. We don't like them calling them episodes because it sounds like accidents when you're saying episodes.
Right.
Like, so since we're talking about sex, they're sessions.
Okay.
So we're gonna have we're gonna record our third session tomorrow with a couple surprises. So that's gonna be fun.
Give us info on it. Tell the viewers. Tell the viewers.
Yeah. How can they chime in?
We will be recording. It's
live?
pre-recorded. It's not live. We're gonna once the audience builds more, we'll do more live sessions. Right now it's pre-recorded, so it'll probably be posted next week. But for tomorrow, we are going to do a couple new things. So that's gonna be fun. I just don't want to spoil the surprise.
Right. So
I'll give a hint. We're gonna dress up, but I'm not gonna specify exactly.
I like when y'all dress up. I like when y'all dress up because I've been seeing some of the videos, and you said that she's on her own sexual journey.
Yes.
She has some nice outfits that
I love this woman. You don't understand. Yeah. We met from her. She was doing photography and she was putting her own modeling group together, and we met off of that. So I agreed to take pictures for her, photos for exchange, and then after that, our friendship, 14 years later, here we are, we're still friends.
You never shared those photos with damn you.
The world's not ready for those photos.
Yeah, but
I have to create an OnlyFans for those photos.
But the podcast is interesting. So for those of you who haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe to their podcast.
Yeah, our purpose is just to talk about sex openly without any boundaries, just breaking the barriers and the patterns of everybody's beliefs. So, I mean, people are scared to talk about sex. So
do you think our society is hypocritical when it comes to that?
Very much.
Hell yeah.
Very much.
Yes.
Very much. Yes, I really think they are.
And to what aspect?
And almost everything, because if anything that I talk about right now, there'll be someone with a particular belief or even a religious background saying what I'm saying is wrong, or it's the wrong way, or it should be done this way instead of that way. Mm-hmm. And I just don't have a box or anything. Just one thing where I believe sexuality or sensuality should just stay in.
And you believe that's a significant part of that relationship is sexuality with a couple, correct?
Not just with the couple. It should always start off with the individual first.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Because there are couples out there, married, not married, and whether they live in together or not together. There's some parts of them where they're still scared to explore, or they haven't addressed to their partner. Someone could be married. I know there's some people I've known that have been married for years and just now discovering like, oh, I didn't know you liked that, or I didn't know that you wanted to try that, or I didn't know that bothered you. So that for me, that's the more beautiful thing, is to start slowly opening up to people to talk about that part. So many people are still old school, like, oh, I can't talk about sex because it's sex and it's it's no, like, if people are now using social media just to say like, oh, look at me, I'm a stripper, or here's me smoking a blunt, compared to back then, if you did that, everyone's frowned upon, then why not talk about sex?
Right.
Why not talk about or try to figure out what you like or what you don't like? Sometimes you can, if you go to a coffee shop, let's say a Starbucks, you know exactly how you want your coffee. Ice, cold, I want this cream, not that cream, that sugar, not this sugar. Then why not to say about your body?
So would you agree then, a lot of times in regards to beyond the sexual aspect, as far as telling them how to do certain things, or it's all about building that relationship, that bond with the individuals, opening up to be able to say, hey, this is what's really going on. And sometimes I guess some of your clients are not even really fully aware themselves, correct?
Right. Yes, that's correct.
TK, you got a question over there?
Yeah, speaking of that, how can I become a sex coach, or anybody else out there?
Oh, girl, you ain't that good. You hang it up now. I'm just saying. Listen, I've heard. Okay, I'm just saying. I've heard.
Thank you.
There's actually there's institutes and universities where you can go through a whole course
Mhm.
to get certified. But in your state, you want to research. In California, you need a business license, at least that. But we are, like for me, I'm a sex coach, not a therapist. I can't prescribe anything, or I'm just here to guide. It's like a life coach, like a guidance counselor.
Right.
So you can go to institutes just to have, if you want that placard and like really study the whole thing, the whole analogy and psychology. And if you really want to do your homework and know what you're talking about when it comes to some clients, you can do that if you want. I was mentored by a sex coach she went through all that course, but from meeting through me, she was also starting her own. So to have a different student in my element and the things that I've experienced and the things that I've done, it was a whole different experience for her too, because she's been a sex coach for years and married for 30 plus years. So meeting someone like me was so different and out of her element that it helped the both of us out into my journey.
Wow. Okay. Wow.
You.
I just can't say, I just have to make it clear, I'm not a therapist.
Right.
I'm a sensual sex intimacy coach.
Right. Well, that was my last question, Nani. Thank you.
For now.
Right. For now. So
For now.
Nice one.
I got
Nice
you later.
one.
I got you later.
you know what? That is so funny. I just want to say, I applaud people like you, Nani, in your profession to have the courage to even do that, because, like you said, a lot of you guys are ridiculed by different organizations and stuff like that. And so I applaud you, because people out there need that type of outlet, where they
to be honest with you, it took me like a good 6 months to even try to tell myself if this is something I want to do.
Mhm.
Because I'm a very private person. I'm just now like putting myself out on social media and doing TikTok videos and stuff like that. Just to even know that many people is looking at it, it makes me, I'm very private. But I knew going into this, I have to share my stories, and there's going to be some family friends who's going to hear it who don't want to hear it,
right.
but they're going to hear it anyway just to hear it, So I'm going to get that criticism. I'm going to get that backlash. I've gotten my first hate email last month, and
Dang.
I know I already prepared myself for. All right, you're going to put yourself out there. This is all going to be out there, and these are the people you're going to deal with along the way. So I really had to go within myself to be like, hey, you really ready for this?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Because it does take, you have to be ready. I can't go dealing with clients and not having a separate mindset for them and my own personal stuff, because everyone, I have my personal life too, and my own personal dramas and situation I have to deal with. I have to make sure I keep it separate. I can't bring that energy into there or allow other people's energy to interfere with mine when we're done speaking.
Right.
So even coming here, I cleaned up my house, I saged up the place, set the good music in the background.
You also go by the title of goddess. So does that have a factor dealing with as far as the sage and energy and everything else? Look at you. Go ahead.
My billboard shirt. Look.
That's a nice shirt. It is. It's a very nice shirt.
So you refer to yourself as a goddess.
Yeah.
You practice a certain thing with that belief.
Oh yeah, it brings out a lot of like confidence and beauty with women. Like on TikTok, I did the red silhouette challenge and the busted challenge for female clients who were so insecure with themselves and their body. I promised them that, okay, well, if I do these challenges and post it, it'll be your turn. And I not only do I want to see the videos, I want you to write about it, how you felt before you did it and how you felt afterwards.
Can you send Charles that link?
Huh? Can I send my what?
That red silhouette challenge. I'm not asking.
That was nice. That was nice. That was real nice.
If you follow me on TikTok, it's on there.
Now, let me ask you, you mentioned about energy, you mentioned about sage and everything else, and you also mentioned about not carrying that with you. Could you tell us and the viewers what preparation do you normally do before a session and then after a session to not carry those things with you?
Before dealing with the client, I usually go into I put myself in a quiet spot. I guess my way of meditating is just having it be quiet. I just need peace and quiet for like good 10, 15 minutes. And then I read into the client that I'm going to get and kind of see what they're looking for. And, I do sage, I Palo Santo, and then I go into that.
You did it again. You did it again. You do what?
Sage and Palo Santo.
What the viewers, again, clarify.
Saging just clears out any negative energy. Like you just clear out the energy to make space for new energy that comes in.
Okay.
That's how I use my sage. Even if for my own personal reasons, if I had a bad day and I'm coming home, or I have like some personal drama, when I'm done dealing with it, I like to sage it out because it just removes that heavy feeling. So I make sure that I just clear out my space for it because I'm very empathetic. So I feel a lot of people's energy. It's easy for me to, I can tell if someone is cool or not. If you guys were a shady podcast, that wouldn't even be on here. So,
So you're empathic. You're saying you're empathic then.
Yeah, I really feel it. And I've noticed it more and more as I got older, but I don't really I don't read, I'm not no psychic reader or anything like that.
Right.
I just when it comes to people's energy, I notice that I can stick to it. Cause even before being I'm a go-to person for a lot of my friends. Like when they tell me their issues and dramas, like I'll notice like as the day passes that I'll start feeling a certain way too. So a couple of years ago for my New Year's resolution, a lot of the friends I used to reach out to just to check on them, I just stopped just to see what kind of space I would be. And it's just more peaceful. Like I just wait for people to, instead of me constantly checking on my friends, I'll wait till till they want to speak to me. But even when they do, I'm like, I already know something's wrong because if I haven't heard from you in a minute, then I hear from you and I'm like, all right, what's wrong?
Right.
It's always something wrong. But I mean, I don't mind helping. I just make sure I prepare myself for that because I don't want to bring that energy home. I don't want to bring it onto my partner or to people that I deal with. Even when I leave the office, like, or even on the road when you get mad at people cutting you off, I like to leave it outside. So if I come home with it, I like to sage it out so I can move the energy out of my personal space.
I'm a sage to work actually, because I have some too. To sage the whole office because
what sage does, it moves the energy.
definitely
It moves it. So that's why they advise that you open the windows and air it out because it moves it out. Palo Santo brings in the blessings. It brings in like when I paint or get into a creative mode, I like using the Palo Santo to put me in that protective, like creative energy.
Clarify what that is.
Palo Santo, it's this other it looks like a wooden bark, and a lot of people use it to bring in positive energy. So what I was taught was that sage clears out energy and the Palo Santo brings in the blessings and positive energy.
Okay.
Wow.
So like when I go into creative mode, whether it be writing or painting or something that that I need to focus on and have my whole self there, I'll bring that energy in.
That's a good thing right there. I'll tell you what.
Yeah, because some people like now, I notice a lot of people are now into crystal sage and stuff like that, but not be aware of the intentions of using it. It's always about your intention, like whether even just what I do in my job, my intention is not for profit. It's there's a purpose behind it. I'm not doing it just to gain popularity, and like it's to help people there that's really stuck in something that they're scared that they don't know where to go or who to talk to.
Wow, I got you. Okay, well, I'll tell you what. Let's end up on that note. I mean, I think that is a good way to end up on it. you know what I'm saying? Like you said, talking about the positive things that you do to get yourself ready mentally and everything like that. And
Yeah, and I always like, there's a lot of when for people out there that's curious about toys and stuff, I do post reviews and repost and share other companies' toys and products that they have that are out. So
okay.
I think I
if
want to
they're ever curious on that stuff.
I want toys too.
What was that?
I want to start selling sex toys. Seriously.
She wants to be a toy slanger.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, okay. That's interesting. So,
Yeah.
so
Well, on that note,
right, right. On that note, I guess we'll let it be with that then. So, I want to thank everyone that has tuned in and those who have asked questions. I hope that this show has been informative for you. I want to thank our guests from the San Francisco Bay Area, and we would love to have you back on again.
Oh, definitely. I love you guys. You guys have really, like I said, you guys have great energy. So otherwise I wouldn't be here.
Thank you, appreciate it. So,
Charles,
with
you
that
want
being the case, what'd you say?
What
T?
was that?
to on mute.
Oh, you're on mute.
Charles is on mute.
Maybe.
Okay. Once again, how can they get a hold of you?
On my website at www.intimatesolutions. So it's SOULUTIONS. And it's the same thing on Instagram, Intimate Solutions. The phone number is 415-969-1647.
And we would make sure that we put a link to her page as well. And also, don't forget, subscribe to her podcast.
Yes.
Yes, the podcast, you will find it on YouTube under Come On Podcast.
Could you spell that out, please?
Yes.
CUMM-ON. Hello, Charles.
Yeah.
Come on, it's CUMMON. Come on.
Come on.
There's so many
Right.
ways to say come on. There's so many ways to use it.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And TK knows all about that. Different ways to use it.
Ew.
So again, on behalf of me and the team at Umbrella Entertainment's That's My Word podcast, we want to thank you guys for
And I appreciate
coming
you
in,
too.
and thank you for coming. Okay.
Thank
Peace out.
you.
Next time.
Bye.
Let me see. What is she doing?